Hi everyone, I'm Ankit Virmani. I am an ethical AI and data engineering specialist. Today I'll be talking about the backend AI solution and what goes into making the backend AI part for a very exciting solution that all three of us will be presenting today. And this solution will focus on how we can use the marriage between artificial intelligence, software development, and human computer interaction principles to help EB-1A extraordinary ability green card hold achievers, potential achievers, achieve their dream by learning through this chatbot. Over to you, Tina.
Hi everyone, I'm Tina Gada. I'm a senior UX designer for Vanguard, and today I will be presenting about how a user experience and design works in a chatbot for EB-1A bot, as well as I will be talking about how the human psychic works in terms of response and reply for any chatbot experiences. Also, how development cycle works and integration of AI with human computer interaction in the mobile device. So I will be talking more details about it. Over to you, Namaswi.
Hello, everyone. I'm Namaswi Chandarana. I am a mobile application development expert focusing on building applications which enhances user performance and well-being. I will be discussing about how did we integrate our client and backend to talk with LLM models to get responses, smart responses from the RAG model. And I'll also be focusing on just telling tools that we used for our client side and backend side as well.
Thanks, Namaswi. Tina, do you mind putting the slide?
Sure.
All three of us are very excited to be here, and the solution that we are going to talk about today is called the Intelligent Conversational System for Personalized EB-1A Guidance and Self-Discovery. Why we came through this solution was because based on the market survey we did, it is becoming increasingly difficult to get concise, consolidated, and accurate information about EB-1A, which is also called the Extraordinary Ability Green Card, as information is scattered online. So we thought, how about we bring together the manifested in a chatbot, and that's why it's called an intelligent conversational system. It's intelligent because it brings the intelligence of talking to a human being. It's conversational because it's a bot, and it's a system because it's a conglomeration of UI, AI, and software development. So we'll be talking about all those three components in their capacities throughout this presentation. Can you go to the next slide, Tina? So I think we've already done the speaker introduction, so we can skip that over. We'll talk about a little bit about the background, then how we had to implement the retrieval augmented generation from an AI standpoint. And then Namaswi will talk about the mobile application with AI user experience. Tina will shed some light on how the user experience integrates with everything. We'll talk about the final product, some challenges that we faced while bringing all these three components together, and what we are thinking about from the future aspect. So as I was talking about the background before, this EB-1A expert bot was created to simplify the complications that EB-1A aspirants face as of today, and some of those complications are stemmed from the fact that there is so much information online, some of it accurate, some of it not, and most of it is the time investment that needs to be made to find a single correct source of truth. So we wanted to cut down the cycles of time that are required for someone to get their queries answered. And we thought, what if we take all the correct data, all the nice, good quality data that's available, all the wisdom from someone who's really knowledgeable in this space, bring that together in a bot, and then have that manifest as an intelligent conversational product or even aspirant. We recognize need of something accessible, which is something easy to use, personalized guidance, because being extraordinary is about being different from others. Being different from others means being unique. And with uniqueness comes the need of having a personalized solution, so personalized guidance, easy to use. We did not want users to invest time in figuring out what to do rather than get answers to the question, and a 24/7 tool available for talent worldwide. So those were the core tenets of why we designed this board and what we designed this board on. And as I was mentioning before, this board is a unique combination of three schools of thought: artificial intelligence, mobile application, and user experience. Let's talk about the artificial intelligence part. Usually, large language models operate on a huge corpus of data that they are trained on, and they might or might not have all the information that we need while we were designing the EB-1A conversational system. This was manifested as hallucination, and based on the testing that we did, a lot of times when we would ask a question, we would promptly understand that the answers that we got weren't accurate. To alleviate that concern that we had during the initial development stages, we understood that we will have to ground the model using a technology called retrieval augmented generation, or a methodology rather that's called retrieval augmented generation. What it does is it retrieves the relevant information from the document we feed into the system, augments the prompt with that retrieved information, and then goes to the large language model with the prompt and the retrieved information to get the accurate answer. So the important part here is the model is not using its own intelligence, but it's using the intelligence from the retrieved information that we have given to the model using the document. Now we know, or now we can expect the kind of information we are going to get. So this is called grounding, where we are grounding the model with the information. And this meant that all three of us had to scout for a lot of good, accurate documentation about various aspects of EB-1A and feed that into the model as document. Whatever I just said is presented on the slide in form of these four boxes. User issues a query, knowledge retrieval system uses that query to fetch accurate documents, information from accurate documents that we've already fed before. And then that fetched information augments the user input. Now you have the prompt plus that information, and that goes to the LLM model, and the model uses the augmented information to give the answer. So this was a central basis for the backend information that the bot would present on the front end using software development. Over to the next slide. So this is the end-to-end design for the mobile application that Namaswi will walk us through, which shows you the interface between user, backend, and the middleware. Namaswi, over to you.
Thank you so much, Ankit. So for this slide, I will be discussing specifically the primary feature of the application, which is getting back the response for a user query. I will break this discussion into two parts. First, the client side and the server side. For the client side, we have currently just launched the application for iOS users. So the app is natively developed using Swift UI, and follows a TCA architecture. The core feature of the app is the chatbot, which addresses the primary issue that we identified before. This is where the user interacts with the chatbot. It sends a request to our backend, and then our backend is responsible to fetch the correct response for us and get it back to the client. We will be discussing more about the different screens that we have on the client side on our next slide, but I'll just move on to the server side for now. The server is built using Node.js with JavaScript as a programming language, and it handles key functions like user authentication, listening to the requests from the client, and also fetching the responses. So just as a user journey, so upon receiving a request from the client side, the server performs prompt engineering. So this is to ensure that the response that we get from our RAG model is in the right format that we want. To make this request, the backend request, it to the LLM model for processing, and the backend continuously monitors these requests because it takes some time to fetch the response back, as the LLM model takes time to process the query. And once that is ready, we get it back on our backend, again clean it up for the client side, and then send it back to the client. And to choose the right LLM model, we just experimented with different models that were available and went ahead with one of the popular ones that is available. And this was purely based on the ease of integration and the responses and the accuracy. Now I'll just pass on to Tina to talk about the user experience of our app.
Thank you so much, Namaswi. From the user experience standpoint, I think one of the key elements that I was primarily focused on is taking the user interviews, making sure that the prospect EB-1A client or applicant who is looking for information online, or it could be a traditional way where they are reaching out to our mentors or a professional lawyers for getting all the information. How would they want to process this information, and what are the key responses that they are looking for? So that was the first initial task where I was trying to gather as many information as possible. Another thing which was playing an advantage is we already have a very good tool such as Chat GPT and Custom GPT available and the mobile application. So one of the very key feature which helped me was how the UI elements are working, what are the things that they are doing as a part of the competitive analysis, which could be leveraged, so that certain things, certain elements that they are doing, we are trying to leverage those elements as a part of the application design. And based on the close collaboration with the development, such as Namaswi, and the understanding how the request response are working, what is the response time that we are getting, and how would we showcase that response time in our UI pattern. That was something which was very important. But looking at the screens, we have a very simple flow where users, if they are coming to the application for the first time, they would be seeing and they have to register to the app and use the sign up feature. But once they are signed up and they come to the app, they have to log in the screen, log in and use the application. And the first time experiences, since user would be seeing the dashboard where we are providing them the questions such as what are the most picked question, or what are the questions that we have known that users are asking based out of our research, and we have populated those questions as a part of our first user experience screen. And upon clicking on any of the given questions or entering certain questions in a certain way, the responses is very accurately provided, where we are giving a summarization of each and every responses and then bulleted point of the subtask or the action item that they might be able to do it and follow the certain steps. Over here, there were a couple of things that we had focus is brand guidelines, since everything was from the scratch. So the brand guideline and visual hierarchy was completely managed by me in a way where we are building the entire design system, the coding which was done in a Swift design, because of which it was easier, so that all the guidelines which we have followed is iOS based, and ensuring the consistency across different screens and making sure that we are focusing on accessibility and inclusivity with respect to the colors that we have chose, and making sure that each and every contrast guidelines has been followed to make this mobile application accessible, user-friendly, as well as preparing them to have a very good, friendly experience at the faster response time. Over to you, Ankit.
Thanks. Can you go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so this slide elucidates some of the challenges that we face. Accuracy of the AI model, as I was mentioning before. Large language models are trained on a corpus of data, and it is expected for them to hallucinate. So we had to use retrieval augmented generation to avoid some of the hallucinated responses that we were getting. And it was imperative for us to do so because this bot endeavors to provide accurate information about EB-1A to be accurate. Namaswi, do you want to take up the rest of the challenge regarding the software development integration?
Yes, definitely. I will cover the faster request response and the issues with integration of LLM model and the application. So I'm going to talk about this both together. One of the primary issues that we faced was the response time, and also the requests that we sent to our model were usually airing out. if you're just trying to fetch the request in one go. And this was basically because the APIs had some token limit set per minute for the current tier that we were on for that model. Therefore, repeated requests to the model often surpass the token limit, hence erroring out our requests. Therefore, to solve this issue, we added an exponential backoff to our backend to request to our LLM model. And that actually helped us to decrease the response time to around 5 to 7 seconds, which was 10 to 15 seconds before. This also helped reduce the error rate because it solved the challenge where it allowed us to not reach the token limit per minute because of the exponential backoff. Although we are still not at 2 or 3 seconds, which is ideal for users to get a response, but that's something for future that we want to cover. But for now, we still were able to decrease it almost 10 seconds from what we were initially. Over to you, Tina, for the rest of the challenges.
So there are a couple of things that we wanted to focus on is ensuring the consistency across the platform. So currently we only have an iOS device, and in future we would be planning to have an Android as well as the web application where it's more accessible across different platforms based on the user's need. So that's one thing which is challenging because every device works differently, and to maintain that consistency is something that we are figuring out, handling the user feedback and iteration. So in the current functionality, we do not have any way where users can provide their detailed feedback about how the interaction is happening, what are the things that they can possibly follow. And that's something which is limiting in our application, and that's what we want to focus on, and balancing the aesthetic and the functionality part of it. So there are 3 key challenges that is what we are working towards. Over to you, Namaswi.
Yeah, for future work, we are currently focusing on just personalized guidance. That's something we already provide with our AI model, but just more towards and any action items that we could auto-generate for our users. That is something that we are looking for that would help in their EB-1A journey. Obviously, the implementation, that's something that Tina already talked about. Implementation of Android and web applications, currently we're just on iOS. Having a voiceover functionality as well, this is to reduce the typing time and also improve accessibility of the application as well. And yeah, some reminders and notifications of to-dos that would be generated out of personal guidance feature. And also designing for global audiences. Currently, the application is just released to US audiences, and it's not enabled for global audiences. So something that is, again, we're targeting for, because EB-1A, any individual can apply for EB-1A. It could be even if they're outside of United States. So that's something also we are looking to go global in the future. Yeah, that's about it, I think. Thank you.
Thanks, Namaswi. Thanks, Tina.
Thank you.
I hope all of you enjoyed the idea, the thought, and the work that we have put into this solution. We deliberately did not go into the actual LLM model, the tooling, etc., because we wanted to keep it very neutral and objective, and wanted to showcase our overall approach on what happens when 3 different individuals with 3 different skill sets come together to solve a problem that is so prominent and common in today's world, using AI, using UI, using software development, and a common skill that all of us have, which is natural intelligence, in addition to artificial intelligence, to solve this problem. So we do hope that you liked our presentation. Once again, thank you, etc. Please feel free to reach out to us. We would be more than happy to walk you through these specifics. Thanks once again, everyone, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.